Hi, thank you for visiting the thread pork, Obama versus McCain in comparison, in terms of lobby money and the earmarks. In this thread, I examined the two candidates with regard to special interest money, lobby money, earmarks, pork barrel spending. Both candidates, once again, talk about in their stump speeches about cutting the cost, examining pork barrel spending, reducing it, cleaning up Washington. Well, let's examine this in a little bit more detail. McCain has a long track record with regard to pork barrel spending. He is probably the ultimate maverick with regard to introducing legislation to curb special interests. Obama has been, in his 2.5 years of senator in the United States Senate, already an entrenched quantity with special interests. Let me tell you why. You'll find cold, hard facts and numbers. In the core and the center of our current financial sector crisis is the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac issue. Those companies are an example of the housing collapse which caused the crisis in the first place. Both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have historically supported politicians they felt would be able to further their agenda. Well, let's look at their contributions. Rank number 1, Christopher Dodd, chairman of the Senate Committee, Banking Committee. Rank number 2, John Kerry. Rank number 3, Barack Obama. Rank number 4, Hillary Clinton. So exactly the people charged and tasked with oversight of these housing institutions, by the way, a democratic invention in the first place, are the recipients of the most money from exactly the institutions they're supposed to oversee and keep in check. I call that a conflict of interest. Don't you agree? So blaming the GOP and George Bush and John McCain for all the problems, the housing crisis, the financial sector crisis, doesn't that speak a little bit to a little bit of a different picture? It wasn't Barack Obama who received $105,000 from Fannie Mae. It's Barack Obama whose top advisor is an ex-Fannie Mae CEO, making $90 million. So it's the Democrats who, in fact, are much deeper and tighter entrenched with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac than the Republicans. Looking at pork barrel spending for a second, don't you agree with me that we independent voters would love to know who in the parliament is actually introducing these pork barrel additions to existing legislation? I'd love to know who added on to $700 billion worth of financial sector rescue bill an amendment in terms of giving tax credits to wooden arrow manufacturers. I'd like to know who did that. I'd like to know who's asking for pork barrel spending, who's receiving it, and what they're using it for. Wouldn't you? Doesn't that remind you on some smoke-filled back room, backdoor type of deliberations like during the Al Capone times where our elected legislators are negotiating and deliberating with each other who's getting what? Doesn't that strike you as outrageous that they tacked on $150 billion in pork barrel to an already $700 billion level of a rescue package? And nobody knows who introduced it. That's a joke. Only one candidate proposes transparency. I'll make them famous. I will make their names famous. I will let you, the voter, know who asked for it, who received it, and what they're spending it for. John McCain. Barack Obama took in 2007 $900 million in pork. It's listed in this thread in detail what he was asking the money for. John McCain didn't take a dime. John McCain is the original maverick when it comes to exactly these kinds of issues. He's introduced legislation to tighten that kind of spending already. He's made it a core element of his policy platform to cut it, to make it more transparent. Obama didn't. Do you agree that John McCain, who didn't take a dime in pork barrel spending money, is more credible when it comes to these kind of issues? Or do you believe somebody who's entrenched with these special interests, already taken money from companies they are charged to oversee? Look at the financial sector companies. Look at the monies they spent on the candidates. You will find, further down the same thread, you'll find the special interest contributions listed, with Hillary Clinton accepting $3.8 billion, Barack Obama accepting $3.7 billion, and John McCain taking less than 45% of that kind of money from financial institutions. So who has more credibility when he promises to clean up Washington in terms of corruption, backdoor dealings, pork barrel spending, earmarks, special interest monies, lobby interest, influence, levels of influence on our government? Who has more credibility with regard to that? I think the answer is pretty damn clear. The facts speak for themselves. In this thread, further down, you will find the earmarks requested by Senator Barack Obama for the year 2008 and the earmarks requested by John McCain. Compare them, look what the money's for, and I think the topic pork is pretty much a topic McCain wins by a landslide. If you put the topic into the context of the economy, where we talked about cutting costs, cutting spending during a time of financial turmoil, I think, once again, John McCain proposes a sensible, intelligent approach to a topic very dear to me and to many other independent voters, whereas Obama does not address the issue, and it fits in the overall picture of their economy platform. You be the judge. But on earmarks, lobby money, on corruption, I think I give my vote to McCain. Go through the material, make up your own mind. Thanks very much.